This is it, my final video of 2023. Hi, my name is Sarah, and if you're new here, I love sharing about my sewing and my personal style journey on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to look back on my goals for 2023 and see how I did, and then wrap up by sharing with you a few things I've learned this year about my personal style, and then just ending it on a little bit of a personal note. So I actually had to go back and watch last year's wrap-up video to figure out what my goals for 2023 even were, because to be honest with you, I made that video and then I never thought about it again. So let's just see how I did, if I somehow managed to achieve those goals by osmosis, because it clearly was not at the top of my mind. So my first two goals kind of went hand in hand, so I'm going to talk about them together. The first one was that I wanted to make fewer items than the year before, and the second goal was I wanted to make more of what I actually need. So in 2023, I made 28 tops, 19 bottoms, 14 layering pieces, 8 dresses, 2 one-piece garments, 26 knit or crochet projects, and 5 gifts, for a total of 102 projects. Now compared to 2022, I completed 149 projects. So technically, I did make quite a bit fewer things in 2023 than I did in 2022. Now 102 projects is still quite a few things, but I'm going to be gentle on myself because sewing and knitting and crochet, those things are my hobbies. They're what I do to relax and unwind. So if I make more things than I actually need in my wardrobe, I really do think that that's okay. As I've already discussed in some of my other wrap-up videos, I do get use out of most of the things that I make, and I only had a few fails this year, so I think that I am improving in that regard. Now, as far as applying that to did I make what I actually needed, I think in my original video I had said that I needed to make more bottoms and more layering pieces. So I did make quite a few more layering pieces than I did in the previous year, so that's really good. And I made fewer dresses, which is really good because I don't wear dresses that often. But I did still end up making almost 30 tops, which is probably more than I actually need. So overall, I think I am going to give myself a pass on this one, even if it was a bit of a mixed bag. My third goal was to only buy patterns when I was ready to sew them. And for the most part, I think I did a pretty good job on this. Now in 2023, I purchased 33 patterns with my own money, and in 2022, I had purchased 114, so that is a dramatic decrease. Now of the patterns that I purchased, in 2023, I sewed up 16 out of the 33, compared to 2022 when I sewed up 50 out of the 112. So that means that this year I sewed up 48% of the patterns that I bought compared to last year when I sewed up 44% of the patterns that I bought. I definitely think that I could try to improve on that number, but again, I'm pretty satisfied with where I am on this goal, especially because I bought so many fewer patterns than I did the year before. I've really slowed down. I mean, a big reason for that is because I have so many patterns now that it's harder for me to justify buying a new one. And I've also been gravitating more towards repeat patterns, so using patterns that I've already made in the past. So I think that that has really helped to stem the flow of adding new patterns to my stash in 2023, and certainly I'd like to keep doing that in 2024. My fourth goal was to reduce my fabric purchases. Now there is a big elephant in the room that I do just want to address. I am a Minerva brand ambassador, so I do receive fabric for free from them. And I think that that actually was a big cause of me buying less in 2023 because I kind of counted on my Minerva ambassador projects as sort of sating that need to get new fabric. But in 2023, I purchased 26 fabrics, comparing that to last year in 2022 when I bought 92 fabrics. So that again was a pretty big decrease. Now of the fabrics that I bought, I used 35% of them in 2023 compared to 2022 when I used 42%. Now, like I said, this doesn't include Minerva projects because I did not buy that fabric. All of those fabrics, when I got them in the mail, I sewed them up immediately. So they were definitely just in and out of the stash. So I think that's a contributing factor to why my percentage of fabric sewn is a little bit down this year compared to last year, just because I'm not including all of these fabrics that I received and sewed up right away, if that makes any sense. And then my fifth goal for 2023 was to decrease my fabric stash. So right now I have 192 yards of fabric in my stash compared to the end of last year in 2022 I had 304. So I used up 112 yards. Again, I still have a lot of fabric in my stash, but I did use quite a bit, so I'm really proud of myself this year. I didn't go overboard with purchases. I sewed up a decent amount of what I bought, and that's another thing that I want to continue into the new year as well. Now I will just quickly address my Make 9 because it did come up in last year's video. I actually made two Make 9s, one for sewing and one for knitting, but I pretty much created those things and then never thought about them again. I can't even find the original pictures to show you. I think I just deleted them off of my phone. The thing about Make 9 is that I did complete it once, I think back in 2021. And ever since I did that, I think it was sort of a bucket list thing where I ticked it off my list that I did it once in my lifetime and then I don't care if I ever do it again. So I don't think that the Make 9 is particularly useful for me anymore, so I'm gonna stop doing it. As well as making goals for 2024, I don't think that that's super useful for me either, because I made that video last year and like I said, I never thought about it again. So I think that maybe I'm just not a goal-oriented person, and that's okay. So now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about my personal style journey and my evolution. I've touched on it a bit in these videos here in the later part of the year, but I've never really sat down and shared my thoughts and feelings about the conclusions that I drew, so I'm gonna do it right now. So I got my colors and my body typing done back in January, and I spent several months out of the first part of the year trying to apply that knowledge. Now it's not that I disagree with my color analysis or the Kibbe body type that I was given, but I did start to feel kind of boxed in. Part of it is just my nature. Like, I can't help it, you guys. I'm a contrarian. The minute that somebody tells me that I have to do something, I want to do the opposite. It's just part of my nature. So I didn't really like the idea of being told that I could only wear certain colors or certain silhouettes. It's not that I think that those things were wrong. It's just that I like variety and I like the freedom to choose what colors that I want to wear, even if they're not the best for me. I also watched a lot of videos on color analysis, and I found one that I'm going to link down in the description box because it really sums up my feelings about color analysis and its flaws. It's a video about someone trying to find the history of color analysis and where it came from and whether it's actually based on facts. And long story short, the conclusion was kind of like sort of, but a lot of it is really subjective and it's not really based on anything solidly scientific, which I kind of could have guessed. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't 100% agree with color analysis as a concept in general. Just to give you a little bit of an example, I'm never going to be able to find this video because I watched it ages ago and I've watched so many of them, I'm not going to be able to dig it up again. But I was watching this video giving advice to olives because I have an olive undertone. And they were saying that olive skin tones should always wear blush because the fact that our skin is slightly greener is because we don't have enough red. So if you add red to your skin tone, you automatically look brighter and healthier, etc., etc. So I am not a hair and makeup person and I never will be, but I figured that's a pretty simple thing that I could do, so I started wearing blush. And I swear to you, the results were dramatic. Both people in my real life and on Instagram and YouTube, every time I wore blush, I got tons of compliments of how I was glowing and how I just looked so good in my colors. And sometimes I wasn't even wearing my colors, and so in my opinion, it had nothing to do with what I was wearing. It was all about the blush. So I realized that that's one way that I could access colors that really aren't that great for me. If I just add a little bit of blush, it makes a world of difference. So that's just one of the things that I learned about the color analysis thing, where I was like, you know what, I really don't think that this matters too much to me. And as far as the body typing goes, soft gamines are supposed to wear a lot of contrast and have a lot of detail. And again, that's not something that I think is wrong for me, but it just doesn't really fit with my personality and my lifestyle. I've mentioned many times on this channel that I don't like fussy clothing. I like to just put my clothes on and then not think about them again until I have to take them off at night. So when you have a ton of different details like ruffles or lace or lots of accessories or things that you might constantly have to situate or mess with, that's just not me. I don't like doing that. I prefer to wear more minimal, more classic styles. That's just what I like to wear. So I definitely still think that knowing my colors and knowing my body type is useful information. It's something that I might apply at times, but I also don't want to let it interfere with who I am as a person and what I feel comfortable in and just what I like. So that's why I've concluded that following my colors and my body typing is just not something that I want to do. And if you've had your colors done or your body analysis done and you find it really helpful for you, then I think that that's wonderful and you should keep doing it. It's just that for me, I've decided that it's a little bit limiting. I want to feel more free in my clothes. I want to wear what I want to wear. And so that's what I'm going to do from here on out. Now, before I wrap it up, I do want to share with you what I'm wearing today because it is very special. My friend Michelle from Michelle Sews Again very kindly agreed to dye a few of my garments that I just wasn't wearing because I didn't like the color. So I had this yellow chalk and notch page sweatshirt that I wasn't wearing because I don't really like yellow. I really don't know what I was thinking when I made it. I think I was trying to expand and add more color for variety, but I really just don't like yellow. So Michelle dyed this for me and I absolutely love it now. It's so much better. I love these vibrant shades of pink and purple, so thank you so much, Michelle. And I will insert a photo of the full outfit so you can see what I'm wearing today. But this just makes me really happy, so I wanted to go ahead and point it out. Now to wrap up this video, I just want to share a few personal thoughts. First of all, I am so extremely grateful to each and every one of you who watch my videos. I know that there is so much choice out there, especially with all the different platforms. So the fact that you take time out of your day to sit down and watch my videos makes me feel so special and so appreciated. So thank you for that. 2023 has been a really difficult year for me personally, and I still find that I'm trying to work my way through it. But this channel has been a bright spot. I've definitely achieved some things that I didn't even think was possible. I had a couple videos that did really well and I was very overwhelmed by it. I'm not sure how much it shows, but I do work really hard to make the best videos that I possibly can, and I promise to continue to keep trying to grow and improve and bring you the kind of content that you want to see in 2024 and beyond. Now, a quick announcement, I will be taking a few weeks off in January. I just need a mental health break to kind of relax and refresh, so I will be back in mid-January. And I hope that everyone has had a wonderful holiday season and that you've taken time to be with your family and friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in 2024.